Yeah, okay. Good evening.
India is becoming a leading country in industrial medicine as it is currently supplying around 150 countries with the Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine.
The medical sector in India is rapidly growing as India produces a diversity of medical supplies and pharmaceuticals. Here's more with Saleh Al-Abedi.
The Republic of India is famous for being the pharmacy of the world. The health sector in India is one of the best in the world and it continues to develop. This is shown when the COVID-19 pandemic started. India prepared itself during the beginning of the lockdown by building the required infrastructure to deal with the pandemic.
During that 3 months, India has developed a lot of steps taken in developing the infrastructure for addressing the crisis, which includes the test kits, masks, equipments. All this we developed for our own use, and also we were able to supply medicines related to COVID to 150 countries, which India as a pharmacy of the world actually has an infrastructure for production of medicines and medical equipment, which has been used effectively. And when it came to the COVID vaccine, I'm very happy that there are 2 made in India vaccines. One is Covishield, which you mentioned, that 200 doses of Covishield vaccine, which was manufactured by the Serum Institute of India, was shipped to Kuwait. And there is one more vaccine which we have approved at our level, which is the Covaxin. So these 2 vaccines are available in India, and the Covishield vaccine is being shipped out of India to many countries, several countries.
The Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine is being produced in India and it is distributed to countries around the world. There is another local vaccine that demonstrated promising results, which recently got approved in India. Indian officials have mentioned that they will continue to supply Kuwait with vaccines and other medical goods. From the Embassy of India, this was Saleh Al-Abedi reporting for Kuwait English News.
India is becoming a leading country in industrial medicine as it is currently supplying around 150 countries with the Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine.
The medical sector in India is rapidly growing as India produces a diversity of medical supplies and pharmaceuticals. Here's more with Saleh Al-Abedi.
The Republic of India is famous for being the pharmacy of the world. The health sector in India is one of the best in the world and it continues to develop. This is shown when the COVID-19 pandemic started. India prepared itself during the beginning of the lockdown by building the required infrastructure to deal with the pandemic.
during that 3 months, India has developed a lot of steps taken in developing the infrastructure for addressing the crisis, which includes the test kits, masks, equipments. All this we developed for our own use, and also we were able to supply medicines related to COVID to 150 countries, which India as a pharmacy of the world actually has an infrastructure for production of medicines and medical equipment, which has been used effectively. And when it came to the COVID vaccine, I'm very happy that there are 2 made in India vaccines. One is Covishield, which you mentioned that 200 doses of Covishield vaccine, which was manufactured by the Serum Institute of India, was shipped to Kuwait. And there is one more vaccine which we have approved at our level, which is the Covaxin. So these 2 vaccines are available in India, and the Covishield vaccine is being shipped out of India to many countries, several countries.
The Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine is being produced in India, and it is distributed to countries around the world. There is another local vaccine that demonstrated promising results, which recently got approved in India. Indian officials have mentioned that they will continue to supply Kuwait with vaccines and other medical goods. From the Embassy of India, this was Sahil Abaidi reporting for Kuwait English News.
Good evening, Excellencies, distinguished dignitaries, esteemed guests, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of Embassy of India in Kuwait, I welcome you all to today's event, which is the launch of IDF Health Guide, which is being organized by the Embassy in association with the Indian Doctors Forum Kuwait, Kuwait Medical Association, and the Indian Professionals Network, IPN. In view of the prevailing pandemic, today's event is being held largely virtually, in line with the COVID-19 related health and safety guidelines. I would also like to take this opportunity to inform all the Indian businesses and professionals in Kuwait that the registrations for the Indian Business Network, IBN, and the Indian Professionals Network, IPN, remain live. All Indian businesses and professionals are therefore encouraged to register and join these respective networks. Today's event is not only part of the series of events that the Embassy has been organizing on COVID-19 with the core objective of spreading awareness for the larger welfare of the community in Kuwait, but also a continuation of a wonderful tradition of annual medical compendium or health guides that are released by the Indian Doctors Forum. This year marks the 17th edition of this annual health guide. Our heartfelt congratulations to the team of IDF on reaching this important milestone. We are quite confident that they will cross many more important milestones in the future and continue their good work in serving the community. To elaborate more about the current edition of the health guide, which is focused on an extremely relevant issue, COVID-19, and also to share interesting insights from what went behind the scenes in the run-up to the preparation of this important compilation, we have the editorial team of the IDF joining us today. Before we begin the official proceedings of the day, may I request all the esteemed guests who have joined us here in the auditorium to continue to follow all the COVID-19 related appropriately throughout the program. Thank you for your cooperation in this regard. We will begin the official program with the national anthems of India and Kuwait. May I request everyone to kindly raise for the national anthems. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Now, without further ado, may I now request the following dignitaries to come to the dais for the traditional lamp lighting ceremony. His Excellency, the Ambassador of India to Kuwait, Shri Sibi George Sir, and Madam Joyce Sibi. His Excellency, Dr. Muhammad Al-Kashti, Assistant Under Secretary, Ministry of Health, State of Kuwait. His Excellency, Dr. Ahmed Thuwaini Al-Enizi, President, Kuwait Medical Association. Dr. Amir Ahmed, President, Indian Doctors Forum, Kuwait. Thank you. I thank all the esteemed dignitaries on the dais and request them to take their respective seats in the auditorium. However, may I request His Excellency, Ambassador of India, to stay on the dais for the felicitations. We'll now felicitate our esteemed guests as part of the welcome ceremony. For this, may I invite His Excellency, Dr. Muhammad Al-Kashti, again, Assistant Under Secretary, Ministry of Health, to come to the dais, please. Thank you. To assist the ambassador during the felicitation, may I request Dr. Sunil Yadav, Vice President of Indian Doctors Forum, to kindly come to the dais. May I now invite His Excellency, Dr. Ahmed Thuwaini Al-Enizi, President, Kuwait Medical Association, to kindly come to the dais, please. And to assist Ambassador during this facilitation, may I request Dr. Burhan Shabir, Joint Secretary, IDF, to come to the dais, please. Thank you, Dr. Ahmed. May I now invite His Excellency Mr. Jamal Abdul Khalik An-Nouri, Board Member, Kuwait Petroleum Company, to kindly come to the dais, please. And to assist the Ambassador during the felicitation, may I request Dr. Asit Mohanty, Joint Treasurer, IDF Kuwait, to come to the dais, please. May I now kindly invite His Excellency Engineer Abdul Aziz Ahmad Ad-Duwej, Deputy CEO KNPC, to kindly come to the dais. And to assist the Ambassador during the felicitation, may I request Dr. Shahid Pathan, Membership Secretary IDF, to come to the dais, please. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Dr. Amir. May I kindly request you all to kindly take your respective seat in the auditorium, please. Seats. Now, to take you all through the remainder of the program for the day, I invite Dr. Jagannath, Treasurer IDF, to come to the podium and do the honors. Over to you, Dr. Jagannath.
Thank you so much, Mr. Fahad Suri. Assalamu alaikum, namaskar, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Dr. Jagannath Chodankar, and I am proud to be the treasurer of the Indian Doctors Forum. It is indeed my pleasure and honor to take you through the rest of the evening as the anchor of this prestigious function. Without much delay, I would like to call upon our General Secretary, Dr. Nazim Parker, to please give the welcome address. Dr. Nazim Parker.
Thank you, Dr. Jagannath. Honorable Ambassador of India to Kuwait, His Excellency Sir Shri Xvii George, Assistant Under Secretary, Ministry of Health, Dr. Mohammed Al-Khashti, KMA President, Dr. Ahmed Thueni Al-Lenizi, and other distinguished dignitaries, sponsors, guests, and my dear IDF members. Assalamu alaikum, namaste, and good evening to everyone. Today we have all gathered here for the release of 17th edition of Indian Doctors Forum Health Guide in succession under the title COVID-19 Explained. Release of Health Guide is an annual event wherein every year we come up with a book on topics of interest to general public. We are proud to be registered under the Embassy of India. We receive constant guidance and support from the Honorable Ambassador and the officials at Embassy of India, Kuwait, for all our activities. We are indeed blessed to have an ambassador who is, in a very short time, has endeared himself to the community through his hard work. It gives me great pleasure to welcome him for today's event. Welcome, sir. The role played by the Ministry of Health in this entire COVID pandemic is highly appreciable. Kuwait is one of the nations in the forefront of fighting COVID and has done exceptionally well in the fight against COVID. It's a big honor for IDF to welcome the Assistant Under-Secretary of Ministry of Health, Dr. Mohammed Al-Khashti, for today's event. We welcome you, sir. Indian Doctors Forum is one of the few associations to enjoy an affiliation to an official governmental body, the Kuwait Medical Association. We are honored to be affiliated to KMA and are highly indebted to them for all our health-related community services. I would like to extend a warm welcome to the KMA President, Dr. Ahmed Toueni Al-Inzi, and all the officials of the Kuwait Medical Association present today. Mr. Jamal Abdul Khalik Al-Nouri, former chairman of KNPC and present board member, is very close to the Indian community. We have great honor in welcoming him. At the same time, Engineer Abdulaziz Ahmed Al-Duwej, DCEO, Support Services at KNPC, is also no stranger to the Indian community. We have great honor in welcoming you. Further, I would like to extend a hearty welcome to all our sponsors who have helped translate our thoughts into actions by sponsoring this health guide to its present form. We would like to thank our main sponsors, Al-Mullah Exchange, Sultan United Company, Advanced Technology Company, Oriental Insurance, and Merck, whose representatives are with us today, and also to all other sponsors who are present virtually due to the COVID constraints. IDF takes great pleasure to welcome all the dignitaries from Ministry of Health and other fraternities in Kuwait, senior members of Indian Community Support Group, and other associations in Kuwait. Last but not the least, I wish to welcome all members of the Indian Doctors Forum, who are the heart and soul of the forum and have joined us today in this unique celebration, physically and virtually, due to the constrictions forced on us by the pandemic. Thank you, one and all, for your patient listening. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Nazim Parker. Every team is identified by its captain, and every captain determines the performance of the entire team. We at the IDF are blessed to have Dr. Amir Ahmed as our captain at the helm of the affairs and as our leader, who has been steering us to the last one complete year with unstoppable vigor and energy. With these few words, I would like to request Dr. Amir Ahmed, the President of Indian Doctors Forum, to kindly address this dignified gathering.
Honorable Ambassador of India, Shri C.B. George, Madam Joyce C.B. George, Honorable Assistant Under Secretary at the Ministry of Health, Dr. Mohammad Al-Kashti, most respected President of KMA, Dr. Ahmed Al-Toueni, our guests of honor, Mr. Jamal Al-Nouri, Engineer Abdulaziz Al-Duwej, board members of KMA, sponsors, my dear friends at the Indian Community Support Group, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum, good evening, namaskar. It's indeed with much happiness and pride that I stand before you. In spite of all these COVID restrictions, in spite of the gloomy atmosphere that prevails all over the world, we at the Indian Doctors Forum have all assembled over here to show that life continues and we can lead life in a new normal manner. The members, the people who have gathered over here are all vaccinated. We are all following the COVID protocol. And we are having this very simple but very austere presentation of the IDF Health Guide release. The Indian Doctors Forum was formed in the year 2004 with the prime intention of improving and facilitating the already strong bilateral relationship that exists between India and Kuwait, especially in the field of healthcare. Our members, through their various community welfare activities, through the various humanitarian activities, help reach out to the Indian community in specific, but not limited to the Indian community over here in Kuwait. During this pandemic too, we have not stopped our activities. We have reached out to the Indian community in particular through the various teleconsultation services that we do under the agencies of the Embassy of India. The Indian community over here is a very diverse community, speaking various languages, and mainly from the lower socioeconomic strata. During the initial period of pandemic, when things were not very clear, more than COVID, it was the psychological factor which was more important. People were scared, depressed, suicide. They didn't have any direction. They didn't know what to do. That is the time when the Indian community, Indian Doctors Forum members were able to reach out to them. We had this teleconsultation services which was initiated by the Embassy of India, for which we are highly indebted and grateful to the Honorable Ambassador. And in 17 different Indian languages, our members used to counsel the various queries that we would receive. We didn't stop over there. We had symposium organized again by the Honorable Ambassador in the Embassy of India. And we created an awareness. Also through the social media platforms, we reached out, held webinars for the common person so that they would be made aware of what exactly COVID is, how to go about preventing, how to go about helping our fight against COVID. In this line, we also conducted a campaign, again under the aegis of the Embassy of India, where we reached out to the Indian community. In 15 different languages, pamphlets were printed, video messages were recorded, telling the community members the importance of registering and getting vaccinated. For to win our fight against COVID, we all need to get vaccinated. That's very important. So in addition to following the COVID appropriate protocol, which is washing of hands regularly with soap and water, wearing of mask, maintaining social distance. In addition to these three pillars, getting vaccinated is very, very important to win our fight against COVID. So these are the efforts done by our members of our forum. And now today again, as we say, prevention is better than cure. You know, the lighting of the lamp, I was just telling, it actually signifies you're removing the darkness, you're removing the ignorance, and you're spreading knowledge. And this awareness is going to play a big role in our fight against COVID. So today we have come up with this COVID-19 Explained, a very humble effort by our chief editors, Dr. Saroj Grover and Dr. Archit Chattopadhyay, along with a list of authors. They have explained COVID, different dimensions of COVID, in very simple English to be understood by the common non-medical person. With these very, very few words, I should say I'm hugely indebted. On behalf of the forum, let me thank His Excellency, Honorable Ambassador, for taking this initiative, for helping us to organize such a small but a beautiful program under such circumstances over here. Also, we are indeed very blessed, very, very grateful to the Honorable Minister of Health for deputizing Dr. Mohammad Al-Kashti to this event, to our beloved KMA President, Dr. Ahmed Al-Tuwaini, to all our sponsors, to our guest of honors, to the Indian Community Support Group, and all of you who have joined us physically over here and who have joined us with on the virtual platform. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you very much, Dr. Amir, for your beautiful insights. We now have a small audiovisual collage which will depict India's fight and its contributions towards the COVID-19 fight. Kindly sit back and enjoy this beautiful, wonderful video that has been prepared.
As you know, health sector is a very important sector in our relationship.
Exactly.
There is a large number of
Doctors,
dedicated,
nurses,
committed, talented, experienced doctors and nurses and other medical professionals working in Kuwait.
There are some people that are coming or came lately.
That's right, yes. In fact, we had sent a team from India in last year as an emergency team which had come during the COVID crisis. And even now, and also you have seen the vaccine which was coming in February this year. So this is and you know, we are together in this fight against COVID.
Exactly.
It is not a one country issue, it is a global issue.
It's a worldwide.
Absolutely, yes.
And Mr.
Yes.
Ambassador, also the health sector in India is also of a very high level.
Yeah, you are absolutely right. Now the world is looking at India as the pharmacy of the world. During the COVID crisis, India has been able to supply a lot of medicines to 150 countries. 150
Very
countries. In fact, I was reading what the United Nations Secretary General said about India's contributions to the COVID vaccine, for example. I am very happy that India has made in India vaccines have been supplied to many countries, and 200,000 doses of the vaccine had come to Kuwait on the 1st of February. So this is a sector where India is doing very well. Some of the best hospitals, medical facilities, and above all, it has emerged as the pharmacy of the world.
On the occasion of the World Health Day, the Indian Embassy in Kuwait organized a virtual seminar on the vaccine made in India, Covaxin, which was attended by a large host of experts.
The ambassador of India to Kuwait, Xvii George, highlighted the growth of Indian pharmaceutical industries, which supply over 60% of global demand of various vaccines.
The ambassador of India to Kuwait, His Excellency Xvii George, delivered the opening keynote address, which lucidly summarized India's leading contributions to the global fight against COVID-19.
Our central theme of today's event is Made in India Covaxin. An expert speaker from Bharat Biotech, the manufacturer of Covaxin and one of India's leading biotechnology companies, will make a presentation on Covaxin development.
Kuwait and India have a lot of cooperative history together. Clipless of launch of COVID-19 vaccine awareness campaign organized by the embassy with the IDF, the Kuwait, on the 31st of May. Ambassador addressed the gathering, released a booklet comprising messages from doctors on COVID in the 14 languages, and launched the COVID video message campaign.
Much for your patient listening. I hope you all enjoyed the delightful video into India's fight with the COVID-19. Each day normally consists of 24 hours, but for the first time in my 20 years in Kuwait, I have witnessed an ambassador who dedicates his time and effort relentlessly for almost 25 hours a day. From where he retrieves that one extra hour continues to remain a suspense for all of us. With these few words, with a lot of respect and reverence, may I request our today's chief guest of the evening, His Excellency Shri Xvii George, a beloved ambassador, to kindly grace this occasion with a few delightful words.
His Excellency Dr. Muhammad Al-Kashti, Assistant Under Secretary, Ministry of Health, State of Kuwait, Honorable President of Kuwait Medical Association, Dr. Ahmad Thuwaini Al-Enizi, Dr. Faiz Al-Rafi, Kim Secretary General, President of Indian Doctors Forum, Dr. Amir Ahmad, senior doctors who have joined us today, esteemed dignitaries, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good evening to all. Welcome to Embassy of India, Kuwait. I begin my address today by thanking His Highness Sheikh Nawaf Al-Ahmad Al-Sabah, Amir of the State of Kuwait, and His Highness Sheikh Mishal Al-Ahmad Al-Jaber Al-Sabah, Crown Prince of the State of Kuwait, for hosting the large Indian community in Kuwait, and also for the care and the support the government and the people of Kuwait extend to the Indian community, particularly during the COVID-19 pandemic. As we get ready to celebrate the Eid al-Adha this week, I wish all present here, to all my friends of India in Kuwait and all Indians in Kuwait, Eid Mubarak. In India, which has the second largest Muslim population in the world, after Indonesia, we celebrate the occasion with great fervor and enthusiasm, in complete consonance with The India's age-old ethos of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, the world is one family. This day is celebrated across the country in the spirit of compassion, commitment to the welfare of society, spirit of sacrifice, and universal brotherhood. I am delighted to welcome among us today His Excellency Dr. Mohammad Al-Kashti, Assistant Under Secretary, Ministry of the Health, State of Kuwait, who is here with us representing the Honorable Minister of Health of the State of Kuwait. I also acknowledge the presence of His Excellency Honorable President of Kuwait Medical Association, Dr. Ahmad Al-Enisi, who has joined us and will address us shortly. I am glad that our cooperation with the Ministry of Health and KMA continues to grow strong. I have always said that cooperation in medical sector is a very important element in our multifaceted bilateral relationship. And this is much more important now than ever when we jointly fight against this deadly pandemic. I recall that during the visit of Honorable Minister of External Affairs of India, Dr. S. Jaishankar to Kuwait, healthcare was one of the areas identified as priority sectors of cooperation between our two countries. I congratulate Indian Doctors Forum, its president, Dr. Amir Ahmad, and all its members, especially the editorial team, for their support in preparing the health guide and also their support in further strengthening our cooperation in the healthcare sector. Dear friends, let me reiterate what I said before. That is, the IDF team is a trusted partner of the embassy. The team is always in the forefront of the efforts of the embassy in ensuring the welfare of the Indian community in Kuwait. Our partnership with IDF continues to grow, and I thank IDF not only for its humanitarian efforts, but also for its many endeavors in supporting the Indian community in its efforts to fight the pandemic. They have worked closely with the embassy, as President Dr. Amir Ahmad said, in many activities, be it organizing dedicated seminars, awareness campaigns, roundtable discussions to educate people about COVID-19, or by conducting medical camps for distressed nationals, or offering free of charge teleconsultations, and now through this informative health guide that we release today. Dear friends, today's event is part of our continuous efforts to contribute towards the ongoing fight against COVID-19. The global battle against this deadly pandemic appears to be a protracted one. We have made significant progress with COVID-19 vaccinations around the world. However, we still have a long way to go until each one of us is vaccinated. New variants of this disease are being discovered, adding to the difficulties already being faced. It is thereby imperative that we do not relent in our efforts. It is understandable that we may be fatigued in this long, arduous struggle, but eternal vigilance is the price we must all pay for our own safety and that of our loved ones. The new normal forced on us by COVID-19 is here to stay. We just need to adapt to it. While each one of us deals with the challenges being thrown up by COVID-19, it is important that we thank our doctors, our nurses, our medical personnel, and our scientists all over the world who work day in and day out to save lives in our fight against COVID pandemic. Dear friends, I am also pleased to inform you that India has acted with resolve during this unprecedented crisis. In India, the rate of spread of infections, the number of fatalities, and the number of cases requiring hospitalization and critical care have shown a consistent decline in the last few weeks. India's recovery rate today is over 97%, which is higher than the global average. India's fatality rate is 1.3%, which is much below the world average. An all-country, all-government approach has helped overcome both the phases of peak infections in India. Our Prime Minister, Shri Narendra Modi, regularly addressed the state governments and the people directly, launching various programs aimed at taking this all India effort forward. Today, the government is also taking all measures to prevent a potential third wave. India's vaccination drive, which is the largest in the world, is proceeding smoothly with over 400 million vaccinations administered in record time. Health infrastructure is also being ramped up as a precautionary measure. India's technological powers is being leveraged to deliver much-needed healthcare solutions. The CoWIN application, which forms the technology backbone of a vaccination program in India, is an example of the success of Digital India. While India implements these innovative solutions to combat global pandemic, it keeps the needs of the international community at the center of its concerted efforts. The CoWIN platform has been designed on an open source platform for the benefit of all friendly countries around the world. The recent international digital conclave on CoWIN was attended by senior officials and experts from all over the world, including from the state of Kuwait. I am pleased to inform that many countries around the world have expressed interest in leveraging from the CoWIN created by India. We have been doing this right from the start of this fight against COVID-19. In his address to the UN General Assembly in September last year, Prime Minister of India, Shri Narendra Modi, had assured the global community that India will use its production and delivery capacity to help all humanity in fighting the virus. This is exactly what we have done during the pandemic. India extended, as you have seen in the video, India extended medical and other assistance to more than 150 countries. India has sent essential drugs, testing kits, and other medical assistance. Medications made in India were shipped to destinations across the world in daunting logistical circumstances imposed by lockdowns. Indian rapid response teams were deployed in 8 countries. Indian naval vessels and Air Force airplanes delivered supplies along a wide arc of friends and partners. Through Vaccine Maitri, the global health diplomacy operation, we have supplied vaccines made in India to more than 90 nations across the world, including to our friendly state of Kuwait. It is an age-old saying that good deeds beget good results. True to the saying, it was no wonder when India faced a difficult situation during the second wave with a severe shortage of medical oxygen. Countries around the world stepped up to assist India. I am particularly happy to inform you that the friendly state of Kuwait was one of the major suppliers of medical assistance to India. On behalf of the Government of India and our 1.3 billion people of the Republic of India, I extend my sincere gratitude to the leadership, the government, and the people of the friendly state of Kuwait for all the assistance. My special thanks to the concerned authorities who worked tirelessly even during the holy month of Ramadan and the day of Eid al-Fitr to ensure continuous flow of the much-needed medical oxygen from Kuwait to India through successful air-sea bridge operations. I am happy to announce that on July 29th, we are organizing a virtual event to express our gratitude to all those who helped India overcome the second wave. I invite you all to join us on July 29th. Dear friends, coming to today's event, we are very delighted to partner again with IDF and be part of an initiative which I strongly believe will be highly useful for everyone. I am honored to inaugurate and release the IDF Health Guide, which addresses the most relevant theme, COVID-19 Explained. It is appropriately titled COVID-19 Explained. I happened to glance through the entire edition. I must say it is a rich repository of very important, very valuable information on all that we need to know about COVID-19 and all the associated nuances explained by our medical experts in plain, simple language. You would also be happy to know that the Health Day guide is being supplied to all those who are in need of it free of cost by IDF. I once again congratulate the entire IDF team, its president, Dr. Amir Ahmad, and the entire editorial team who have worked hard to compile this health guide. My best wishes to all. I now look forward to hearing from our esteemed dignitaries who have joined us here today. Thank you. Stay safe and stay blessed. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency, for your graceful words, which has once again touched our hearts and gladdened our emotions. We now take you through a small video which depicts the journey of Indian Doctors Forum's close association with the Indian Embassy. In this video, you will witness the close relations that Indian Embassy and Indian IDF share and what role we have played in further strengthening this relationship to a much higher level. Kindly sit back and relish this remarkable journey.
The IDF team is our partners, is always in front of the efforts of the embassy in ensuring the welfare of the Indian community in Kuwait. I thank IDF for its humanitarian efforts and its many endeavors in supporting the Indian community in its efforts to fight the pandemic.
I myself have witnessed COVID wards full of nurses and doctors from India, helping to save lives of Kuwaiti citizens and all other residents here in Kuwait.
We were 24/7 available to the large Indian community. Not only, it was not restricted to the Indian community, those who could talk, speak in English.
It is to felicitate and honor our COVID warriors. Like our doctors and nurses, our blood donors also silently help save many lives. Vaccination is all but the first step we need to take urgently to protect ourselves from serious illness arising out of this infection.
Thank you very much for your patience. I'm sure that you all could appreciate the close bonding and relationship that the Indian Embassy shares with IDF, which has reached really greater heights under your leadership, His Excellency Shri C.B. George. The Ministry of Health is the most sought-after ministry during such global pandemic times, which works tirelessly round the clock in serving and delivering assistance to battle this menace successfully. We are fortunate enough today to have amongst us the Assistant Under Secretary of the Ministry of Health, Kuwait, as our guest of honor. With humility, respect, and gratitude, may I request Dr. Muhammad Al-Kashti, Under Secretary of Planning and Accreditation, Consultant Anesthetist and ICU, Head of Department at Amiri Hospital and KCC, to kindly say a few words and share his feelings on this blessed occasion.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum. Namaste. Good evening, everybody. It gives me a great honor to be today with His Excellency, Ambassador of India, Mr. C.B. George, and to be with all of you. And gives me a great honor to present His Excellency, the Minister of Health, Dr. Basil Ahmed Sabah. He passes you his regards and all the best. Actually, I didn't realize that is 17 years, Dr. Amir. So time has passed very fast. During those 17 years, I used to enjoy all the celebrations which have been done. But unfortunately, this year I feel it, with going with the masks, social distancing, we know that something is going on in the world. So life have changed. We have to deal with it. WHO have said in the beginning of the crisis that it is going to be a medical problem, going to be an economical problem, going to be a social problem. And I was discussing with His Excellency, I didn't think how is it going to be regarding the social problems. But now we realize that a lot of problems are coming because of the social problems, whatever you think it. So it is a crisis all over the world. Everybody is suffering with it. As His Excellency said, that all of us, we have to be one hand. We help each other so that we can overpass this crisis. I'd like to thank all the Indian doctors and the medical staff and the different specialties, especially the nurses, for their great effort which have been done during this crisis. And I wish them all the best. I would like to thank the Indian Doctor Forum for this organization, and wish you all the best for the coming years also, inshallah, that we'll see you always doing such an activity. God bless all of you. Eid Mubarak in advance, and thank you very much for the invitation. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much, Your Excellency, for your kind and generous words. The Kuwait Medical Association and Indian Doctors Forum have been together since the first day of its inception. In fact, the relationship is so beautiful that we almost feel we are non-identical twins. Our relationship keeps getting stronger and more concentrated with each passing day. May I now take this opportunity to invite our guest of honor, Dr. Ahmed Thuwaini Al-Enazi, President of Kuwait Medical Association and renowned rheumatologist at Kuwait, to kindly say a few words and grace this occasion.
The Ambassador of India in Kuwait, Mr. C.B. George and Mrs. C.B. George, the Assistant Undersecretary and the representative of the Minister of Health, Dr. Muhammad Al-Kashti, the President of IDF, Dr. Ahmed Amir, distinguished guests, our colleagues, doctors, health professionals, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah, namaste, namaskar, and good evening to you all. It gives me an honor and a great pleasure to be with you today, releasing the 2021 IDF Health Guide for COVID-19. The Kuwait Medical Association has always been honored and proud of its collaboration with IDF. The IDF has involved itself in vigorous and selfless service of the less privileged members of the Indian and the other expatriate communities, otherwise flourishing in the state of Kuwait by rendering selfless and expert guidance to them in the form of health camps and other socio-cultural activities. The IDF boosts morale of the Indian doctors working here in Kuwait. Kuwait Medical Association is pleased with the IDF release of their yearly health guide, aptly on the burning topic COVID-19 explained. It is bound to provide appropriate scientific guidance on this subject to the common person in general, as well as those scientifically inclined. I would like to place on record my appreciation to all the members of IDF who rendered teleconsultation services, conducted webinars and symposiums on COVID in various Indian languages. The effort by the IDF to create awareness and encourage the public to be vaccinated against COVID by releasing videos, video messages, print pamphlets, and as Dr. Ahmed have mentioned, 15 different Indian languages is noteworthy. I am eminently grateful and thankful to the Indian doctors and Indian diaspora in general for their immeasurable contributions to medical services here in Kuwait and great efforts in shouldering their social responsibilities. And like usual, Kuwait Medical Association is very proud of having IDF as one of the very active sub-association working with us, working under the umbrella of Kuwait Medical Association. Special thanks from KMA to all authors, name by name, of this year's health guide. And finally, a word from the heart, something that I have noticed over the last year. And that's to His Excellency, Mr. Xvii George, the Ambassador of India in Kuwait. Your hospitality and your support to your health professional citizens, and I'm sure to all other citizens here in Kuwait, is very exceptional and highly remarkable, which indeed reflects your help and support to Kuwait. And not to forget your help in facilitating 200,000 vaccines doses arrival to Kuwait and other types of support as well. Mr. George, please keep going on and keep doing what you're doing. It's great. And you really represent a security gate to Kuwait when we need help, especially for medical services. Now, on behalf of the Kuwait Medical Association, I thank you all for participating and coming and sharing with us this activity. Thank you all very much and have a good evening. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ahmed, for your kind words. We truly appreciate and treasure this relationship that IDF shares with KMA, and we pray to God that it multiplies and compounds with each passing day. We now come to the most awaited moment of this evening. Yes, it is the release of the most coveted health guide of all times, under the title of COVID-19 Explained. Without further delay, I would like to call our esteemed Chief Editor, Dr. Saroj Bala Grover, physician at the Infection Diseases Hospital, and co-editor Dr. Arjit Chattopadhyay, endocrinologist at the Sabha Hospital, to kindly come and introduce the health guide to this august audience.
Good evening. His Excellency, Mr. Xvii George, the Ambassador of India to Kuwait, Mrs. Joy Xvii, Dr. Muhammad Al-Kashti, Assistant Under Secretary, Ministry of Health, Dr. Ahmed Al-Tuwani, President, Kuwait Medical Association, respected dignitaries, friends, and members of IDF family. We feel privileged and honored to present today the 17th volume of Health Guide titled COVID-19 Explained. Before I talk about the Health Guide, let me take you to the journey of making the Health Guide. As we know, every year, Indian Doctors Forum take up the Health Guide on a topic of public interest. This year, the subject chosen was on COVID, titled COVID-19, a very apt topic as we are in the midst of COVID-19 pandemic. There was a lot people wanted to know, and there was a lot we as doctors were learning. We learned, all about COVID, its mode of transmission, its signs and symptoms, and the treatment of COVID-19. Right, but we also learned the 3 pillars of prevention: masks, hand hygiene, and social distancing. There did not seem to be a light at the end of the tunnel. We thought, we are going to stay forever with wearing masks, doing social distancing, and hand washing. But yes, there was a light at the end of the tunnel. And what was that? Vaccines. So, which I feel now is a vital weapon against COVID-19. The health guide was planned to be released in February, but due to, the pandemic situation, the lockdowns, and, due to certain unforeseen reasons, it got delayed. But as we say, there is always a silver lining in the cloud. For me, the silver lining in the cloud was I learned 2 things. It was a great learning experience for me. 2, I developed social bonds. I wouldn't say social, I would say special bonds with the editorial team and authors of the book. Talking about learning experience, I have done many webinars on vaccination with different Indian associations in Kuwait. I have also done in schools in India as well, had a seminar in the Indian Embassy research, and I have also participated on a vaccination awareness program for the public in different languages, which you all heard now. It is really, every day, maybe I get about more than 10 calls from people, asking me different questions on vaccination. Now, these calls are not only from Kuwait. I get these calls from India as well. And, for me, I feel great that I'm able to do something for the people. All these questions, which people have asked me in the webinars, in the seminars, and, the awareness program, made me think what I should be writing about vaccination. I have done a separate chapter, entirely separate chapter on vaccination. Now, it deals with various things. It deals about, how the vaccines were made. It also deals about, the different vaccines. It takes you to the history of how, we got the vaccine. It also tells you about the different vaccines. It tells you about its efficacy. Then we have a chapter on frequently asked questions by the public. People want to know, should I do this? Should I do this? I have certain conditions. Should I take? I should not take. Am I pregnant? I should take. If I am lactating, should I take? So all these pertinent questions, we have answered in that question. Also, we have a separate chapter on, you said you should say, about the guidelines for the vaccinated people, now that you are vaccinated, what you can do and what you cannot do. And also for the unvaccinated people, what they should be doing. Basically, hand washing, wearing masks, and maintaining social distancing. Now, recommendations for vaccination are changing every day. Believe me, I've been, maybe every second or third day I've been going, to the press, changing the recommendation, because every second or third day something different happens. Just we were about to publish the book, I read that now, the vaccine committee in America, they are started to talk about boosters. They want to start boosters, after receiving the 2 doses, they want to give a 3rd dose, meaning the booster, and probably they would start this in fall, meaning, during the flu season, combining the 2. So this is just an example, right? And these boosters, they plan to give it to the elderly, to the immunocompromised people, to people, who are at high risk of getting COVID infection, and to the frontline workers. So, and it is already on the way, and I think by October or during the flu season, maybe they will combine the 2 vaccines, and the program will take off, at least in USA. So, and in our book, as I said before, the topic is completely updated. I mean, till today. I would say not till today, just before publication. It's absolutely updated, and it will have all the information about the vaccination. So, and I really hope this will be a big help to the community. That's our hope. Okay, so truly, vaccination has at least bonded me with the public. They ask me questions, I answered them, I feel, good. Now, talking about bonds with other colleagues, the authors first. Let me take this opportunity to thank all the authors. It was a commendable job. As we said, we were planning, to have this health guide in February, but for all this reason, we were not able to get it. So every time we thought, we are going to publish our health guide, the authors had to, update the articles. I would say, thank you, big thank you, and a big applause to all the authors. Thank you so much. Because really, the appreciation coming from you makes a lot of difference. On an average, I think each author must have updated the article 3 times. Yeah. We plan to publish, okay, we are ready, and then something happens, and then, it's such a changing topic. So, and this year, I'm very proud to say, we are privileged to have our Kuwaiti colleagues contributing to the health guide. And I would like to thank our Kuwaiti colleagues. Thank you, Dr. Salim Ali Al-Kandri, Secretary, Kuwait Medical Association, Dr. Munder Al-Hasawi, Dr. Abdullah Al-Hozairi, and Dr. Hana Jafar. It was great to have them on the ship, on board with us. And on the personal front, I have developed a rare, beautiful bond with Dr. Arjit, my co-editor. Come here, please. And the others in the editorial board. Now, just 2-3 lines about Dr. Ajit, because we had been going together and doing all the work. I knew Dr. Ajit as a very friendly, efficient human doctor. In him, I found a rare gem, a brother, I would say, a friend, okay? And I always, and I did not know that he had such a great sense, witty, and a great sense of humor. So I always looked forward to his witty remarks and anecdotes. It was really a great journey making the health guide together. Thank you, Dr. Ajit. Dr. Yusuf Dar. He's not with us here. He's in India now. I really wish he was here with us today. Really, we used to have a lot of interesting conversation after editing the articles. You know how the editors are. The articles come in, you start doing the editing, you start, deleting a few items. So between the two of us, we really had a good time. Dr. Arun Joshi, always a great friend, enjoyed reading and editing articles together. Dr. Aarti, it was really fun planning today's release event, with Dr. Aarti and together, the end result of which you will be seeing now. Dr. Aditya, the youngest member of the team, always came out with valuable suggestions. Thank you all. Thank you all my editorial team. Thank you. Now, I took you to the journey of making the health guide, but I didn't tell you anything about the health guide, which Dr. Ajit will do. But before that, I would like to thank His Excellency, Mr. C.B. George, the Ambassador of India to Kuwait. Thank you, sir, really. And Dr. Amir Ahmed, President of Indian Doctors Forum, for today's event, the release of the health guide, COVID-19 Explained. Thank you, and Eid Mubarak to you all. Thank you very much. Dr. Ajit will continue to tell more about the health guide. Yeah.
Honorable dignitaries present in the hall, and my dear colleague IDF families and friends, a very good evening to you all. We all know that COVID-19 and its variants-related pandemic has posed a lot of challenge since the beginning of 2020. Undoubtedly, COVID-19 had a tremendous impact on the healthcare resources. There are stress and strain globally on frontline workers, equipments, scarcity of the beds, and ICU facilities. This is due to the increasing number of patients which is suffering from the classical COVID-19 and its variants. People, those who recover from COVID-19, it's also found that they do suffer from physical and mental ailments which actually require long-term rehabilitation and care. Besides physical illness, we know that COVID-19 has a devastating impact socially, economically, and mentally, both involving the developing and developed nation around the world. This is a testing time for all of us to demonstrate patience, endurance, and resilience. We all should follow the standard pillars of protection, hand hygiene, wearing mask, avoid overcrowded places, and at the same time, most importantly, as my senior editor, Dr. Saroj, has mentioned about vaccination. Finally, and a word about the variants. We know that now, various geographical areas in the world, we have various new varieties of COVID-19 are coming, which we call them as due to mutation. And what is known so far is that these variants has more chances of transmissibility. And as I mentioned earlier, that more transmissibility means more patients means more pneumonia, more admissions, and potentially more ICU admission and mortality. So we have to be extremely careful. Now, a light in the end of the tunnel is that majority of the vaccine which is used to tackle COVID, they do identify these variants, and hopefully they are able to tackle those, although this is an area of intense scientific research. All these issues actually led IDF, Indian Doctors Forum Kuwait, to conceptualize, to have the topic of this year presentation is COVID-19 Explained. Now, regarding our book, COVID-19 Explained, we have strategically divided into 4 categories. The first category has the disease itself and its spectrum, like describing about the pathophysiology, clinical manifestation, complication, comorbidity, like association with various diseases like diabetes, heart disease, kidney problems. The second segment has got special association with COVID-19, for example, the disease with pregnancy, COVID-19 with mental health, very specific COVID-19 with dermatologic disorders, ENT issues. The third segment is a very interesting one, that what are the useful issues of which we all should remember, like hand hygiene, proper wearing of mask, what is the current WHO guidelines about the proper wearing of the mask. And the most important segment is the fourth segment, which is very meticulously written by Dr. Saroj, is about vaccination in COVID-19. This is a very nicely and elegantly written chapter which has up-to-date information and try to answer all the questions which we face from the patients on day in and day out. I must thank all the authors and my associate editors who came forward, dedicated their valuable time to write this book. My heartfelt thanks to Dr. Saroj, who, because of her meticulous editing and perseverance, you can find from cover to cover of this health guide has her impression on it. Our sincere thanks to Dr. Amir Ahmed, because he's the gentleman right from the beginning. He's behind his constant support for this project. Thank you, Dr. Vinod Grover, for your constructive remark and valuable suggestions. Whenever we demanded or required some help, you were always there to help us. Our sincere thanks to Mr. Shuhair and Print Shop. Mr. Shuhair, he is there in the hall, and I know how much trouble he has taken to make this book come to this current picture, and very innovative way, and really he has done a wonderful job. I would like to conclude by saying, together we shall break through, together we shall overcome, together mankind will win once again.
I would like to add just one more sentence. There is light at the end of the tunnel. And I feel, vaccination and taking all the precaution, that let's all clap to it. There is light at the end of the tunnel, and mankind will surely return to normal. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Saroj and Dr. Arjit. Indeed, a tremendous and remarkable effort. May I now request our esteemed authors to kindly be on stage, and I request our President, Dr. Amir Ahmed, to kindly escort our dignitaries on stage, as I call on their names. His Excellency Shri Xvii George, Indian Ambassador to Kuwait, Dr. Muhammad Al-Kashti, Assistant Under Secretary, Ministry of Health, Dr. Ahmed Tuwaini Al-Enazi, Kuwait Medical Association President, Mr. Jamal Abdul Khaliq Al-Nouri, Board Member, Kuwait Petroleum Company, and Engineer Abdulaziz Ahmed Al-Duwaij, Deputy CEO, KNPC. I request the audience to kindly be seated for the lively and spectacular release of the IDF Health Guide Volume 17. May I also call upon the sponsors, the main sponsors of the Health Guide, Mr. Hormuz Dawar from Al-Mullah Exchange, representatives from Sultan United Medical Company, representatives from ATC, and representatives from the Oriental Insurance. Request you to kindly please join us in this esteemed release of the Health Guide Volume 17. May I now call upon all the esteemed office. Thank you very much. May I request our main sponsor to kindly have a seat. I request our His Excellency the Ambassador kindly stay back on the stage for a group photograph with all the office bearers and the editors of the Health Guide. Last but not the least, may I now invite our elegant and graceful Vice President, Dr. Sajna Mohammed, to kindly deliver the vote of thanks.
Assalamu alaikum, namaste, and a warm and cherished evening to one and all. I deem it a great honor to be the one making the closing remarks and proposing the vote of thanks to the august gathering on this memorable occasion. Firstly, on behalf of the office bearers and the entire IDF fraternity, I wish to thank our beloved Honorable Ambassador, His Excellency Sri Sibi George, and his better half, Mrs. Joyce Sibi, who have always stood with us and supported IDF in all its activities. From the very first day he took, I also extend my heartfelt gratitude to the Indian Embassy for enabling us to host this prestigious function, which would have otherwise been impossible in the current prevailing circumstances. Thank you, sir. Release of IDF Health Guide on COVID-19 was a long-awaited dream. It wasn't an easy task for the authors and editors to keep updating and editing repeatedly as the pandemic progressed. I'm sure this will be a valuable guide and reference book to everyone who is present here. If it wasn't for the relentless efforts made by our dedicated IDF authors and editors, Dr. Saroj and Dr. Arijit Chattopadhyay, this wouldn't have culminated to fruition today. A team is like a toolbox. Not one tool can do all the jobs, but together it can do wonders. Kudos to the whole team of dedicated authors under the able guidance of our chief editors. A big round of applause and heartfelt gratitude to both of you for accomplishing this outstanding feat. This has been a work of passion that has found its way to being published and to disseminate knowledge on this highly relevant topic, and as Dr. Tuvaini said, the burning topic of today. I'm so grateful for the generosity of time and words shown by our guest speaker, Dr. Mohammed Al-Kashti, Assistant Under Secretary, Ministry of Health, and Dr. Ahmed Al-Tuwaini, the President of KMA, for gracing this occasion with your kind words and presence. We are indebted to the KMA President and all the officers of the KMA for their constant support and guidance to IDF. We thank them for their kindness and their unstinted support to IDF. Thank you, sir. I also wish to extend a heartfelt thank you to Mr. Jamal Al-Nouri, the Chairman of KNPC, Engineer Abdul Aziz Al-Duwej, Deputy CEO of KNPC, for honoring this event by their presence. I wish to express sincere gratitude and appreciation to our generous sponsors of the Health Guide and to Merck Company for sponsoring our event today. My heartfelt thanks to the IDF members and office bearers who helped run this show without any glitches, and Dr. Amir, our president, who has been a guiding force, leading our team so meticulously and being a true leader in every sense. Thank you, Dr. Amir. I thank all the distinguished invitees present here, members of the media, ICSG, and other VIPs and distinguished members assembled here to make today's occasion a resounding success. This brings us to the close of a momentous day. I would like to end by saying, there's only one thing that could replace a book, the next book. So until our next edition is out or over, I request all the invitees and attendees here to collect their health guide as well as the snack boxes sponsored by Merck as they exit the auditorium. Thank you. Good evening to all.